Hey there guys, welcome back to another Monster Super League video, and today we're going to be doing another Astromon review, and today we're going to be talking about one of my favorite Astromon, which is Odin. Odin is probably one of the best Nat 5s, in my opinion, in the game as far as utility goes. You can get the light one from the level 45 light and dark contract, and in general she just provides so much use, and I'm going to talk about the reasons why I think you guys should build one and which one I think is suited for what type of content you're going to be doing. So we're going to start with the fire one. The fire one is a tank type. She has 43,000 HP, 2,000 attack, 3,000 defense, and 2,400 recovery. So all in all, the fire Odin is pretty good. She's well rounded for pretty much everything that you can possibly think that you'd want to do. Her skills are defense down on the 3-star skill, 80% chance to reduce the enemy's defense for 2 turns, and she has attack down on the 2nd skill, the 5-star skill, 80% chance to reduce the enemy's attack for 2 turns. And her leader skill is Grace of Life, which increases allies' HP by 40 to 45% in the Astromon League. So that is restricted to only arenas, unfortunately. But there are certain types that do benefit from that leader skill, and we're going to talk about how useful she'll be in that role. So all in all, the fire one is again mainly a debuffer. She is really good for Titans, and you can pretty much use her in let's say the Wood Colossus or the Fire Titan, or I'm sorry, the Wood Titan. So she provides some pretty good utility there. She's also fairly decent in Arena. Again, if you use the fire one, if you have a variant of her, she can be really useful providing that defense down and the attack down. It's still somewhat viable in Arena, especially now with the arrival of the Challengers League. So let's see, where would I use her? So sometimes I've used Odin in the Tower of Chaos. She can also be used again in the Wood Titan. She's really good. I think if you book her, let's go see if we can check out her stats after you book her. Here she is. So if you book her, she can have a 100% chance to apply that defense down and a 90% chance to apply the attack down. So all in all, she's really good, especially if you can book her. Of course, running into the 5-star Nat books are probably going to be hard because you do have to spend crystals on them, but it is a good option for the Fire Odin if you're looking to max her potential. So all in all, she's a really good mon, really solid. I use her a lot on my Titans team because, again, the debuff's there. So really good. Moving on to the water one. Okay, so the water one is really good for Arena, and she is a balance type with 25,300 HP, 3,100 attack, 3,100 defense, and 3,000 recovery. I do like the look of her in the normal form. I don't so much like the variant form, but she is really useful. The 3-star skill is a 100% chance to stun the enemy, and it's not conditional to critical, or it's basically 100% to stun on hit. So all in all, a really good mod for Arena. So the 5-star skill is stun, with a 70% chance to stun the enemy for 1 turn. So if you do manage to get her active up, she has a 70% chance to stun the opposing team. So she's really good on defense. Again, really good on offense as well. I've personally used her with 2 Drakas, where I could just use the Water Odin to stun 1 target, and then the other 2 Fire Drakas to burn 1 or 2 of the enemy's buns. So all in all, she's really good, especially if she's using that variant leader skill, which provides 40-45% HP on the arena. I do plan on making my water one Evo 3 eventually. I just haven't gotten around to it. There's just other mons that have priority over her, but she will be my next mon that I'll get to Evo 3, mainly for arena and for defense. She can be used in CVC as well, really good in CVC. So mainly a PvP type monster. So she's really good there. But outside of that, the only other use that you might see for her is probably Tower of Chaos, and that's pretty much it. So moving on to the wood one. The wood one is an attacker type with 28,400 HP, 3,900 attack, 2,600 defense, and 2,100 recovery. She has really high attack, which goes really well with her 3-star skill, which is attacks greatly restore own HP in proportion to the amount of damage dealt. So the more attack or the more damage she does, the more she'll heal. So it makes her a really viable, sustainable mon to have. The only downside to the wood Odin, and the reason why you won't see too many of her around, is because of the fire Drakas, and currently the 5-star rebirth is up for Draka. So unfortunately you won't see too many people using her in arena anymore, but there are a few here and there that I have seen where people still use her in defense. I will say though, most of the times I generally destroy those teams, especially if they're wood heavy, but you know, can't always do whatever you want. So the 5-star skill is defense down, grants 80% chance to reduce the enemy's defense for 2 turns. So she's really good for that 5-star skill. If you want to use her in Titans, she's very viable in Titans, mainly for the defense down, and because she can provide that self-heal. So I have seen some people use her in Titans. I don't generally recommend using her in Titans, but if you're lacking a defense downer, she's really good. I see the way I see it is it takes a lot of gleams to get her to Evo 3, and you're probably better off building the fire one first if you're going to use her for Titans, because the fire one you can use for the light and the dark Titan as well, because she does have that base 20% resist. So she's overall in better shape than the wood one, I think. So unfortunately we won't see too many of the wood one around. And that's it pretty much for the wood one. You can only probably use her in CBC and in TOC. Moving on to the light one, and the light one and the dark ones you can get from the level 45 light and dark contract, and she's probably one of the best monsters to get as far as taking your pick between the light Valk and the light Arthur. So in general, I'd say I would recommend her as your pick. The reason why is because she can tank Golem's B10, which will help you substantially when you're farming gems. And she is a tank type. She has 42,000 HP, 2,000 attack, 2,900 defense, and 2,600 recovery. Her defense is really good, and her HP pools are really good. She is not really going to be needing too much attack and too much recovery. I wish that those two were reversed so she could be a little bit more helpful in golems. But all in all, you can do with just her as long as you have a pretty decent gem set. And as usual, I'll put the HP composition at the bottom right of your screen there so you can see which one's the best typing for her. And her 3-star skill is aggression, HP based. Attack power becomes proportional to own max HP, which means the more health she has, the more damage she'll deal. And in her case, because you're going to be using her in golems, you want to put her as a triple HP on a life set or a pugilist set. I find a pugilist set can actually be very helpful, considering the fact that you're already doing a lot of damage from the HP aggression, and you can stun the waves basically as you go through. So it's just an added bonus that you can use her for with a pugilist set. Other than that, the gem of life or the gem of healer is probably a good set and choice for her as well. I use mine on a gem of life just because I'd rather use a little bit extra damage. I don't really need too much stunning. I use her and 3 Drakas to farm Golem's B10, so with the combination of all 4 of them, I basically have a healer and 4 damage dealers. So she's pretty good. The 5-star skill is attacks restore allies HP in amount equal to 10% of own max HP. Again, that works really well with the 3-star skill, so both of them are HP reliant. So the more health you have, the more damage you'll deal, and the more healing you'll do as well. And the adrenaline works off of how many monsters are on the board. So if you're going up against 4 monsters and you are healing, you're going to be healing 4 times the amount that you generally would. So all in all, again, the Odin, the light Odin especially, is probably the best pick because you can use her all around for farming, questing, and pretty much everything else in general. Up until you get to level 45, you may or may not have a lot of nat 5s. If you don't happen to have a good monster to build, the light Odin is really good for Golem's B10 and farming. So along with the Golem's B10 and the farming, she's also really good in arenas, especially now with a lot of you know, dark monsters on defense. I feel like it's been 50-50 as far as light and dark monsters on either defense or offense. So she is a really good choice, again, if you put her on a pugilist set on defense, where she'll be, you know, providing some stuns, doing a little bit of damage, especially if your attacker is dark, and at the same time she'll be healing and providing that 40 to 45% HP if you have a variant version of her in your team. So all in all, she's really good. I really like the light Odin. I think mine has over 130,000 HP or so with about like 50 or 60% resist. I haven't Evo 3 her yet, and the reason why is again the gleams. I just haven't gotten along to, you know, building her first. I went along and I built my light Beiji and my light Barbarona first, and of course my Drakas that took a lot of my gleams. So that's it pretty much for the light Odin. I definitely recommend you guys pick her over the light or dark contract, just because she is really beneficial and useful in late game. And again, I'm almost level 54 and I still use her for Golems B10, so she's really good. Alright, moving on to the dark one. Now I did also pick the dark one for the light and dark contract. The reason why I chose her is because she is all around a pretty decent mon, and I planned on getting her to variant so I could use her for arenas. So the dark one is a balance type with 32,000 HP, 2,900 attack, 2,800 defense, and 1,800 recovery. I wish that the dark Odin had a little bit more attack and a little bit more HP, but she's alright. She's not that great. But all in all, she's fairly decent for a Dark Mon, as she'll have that extra 50% crit damage because she is a Dark Mon. She has Battle Rush and a 3-star skill, which attacks restore 20% of own HP and SP. So that means she'll be getting her health up every turn, as well as her SP bar every turn. And if you put her in a gem of Pugilist, or a Pugilist gem, or a Leech gem, she's really good, especially because her 5-star skill is defense down, and the defense down is 80% chance to reduce the enemy's defense for 3 turns. So that 3-turn defense down with that high percent chance makes her really good for the arena, as well as Titans. If you're really lacking, again, another defense monster, she can kind of, you know, be self-reliant, especially if you put her like in a good gem of Leech or something like that for Titans. Unfortunately, most of the time you're going to be focusing on one gem set, and for her, if you're going to use her for arena, you have to build it with arena gems. If you're going to use her for Titans, you got to use her, you know, Titans gems. But all in all, very good sustainable mon to have. I mainly am planning on using her in arena only, and that's because I do want to get her to variant eventually. I'm just hoping to pull another variant Odin, but all in all, she's really good. Other uses for her, you can use her in Tower of Chaos. If you put a Pugilist gem on her, she's pretty decent. Not the best, but she is usable. And that's pretty much it, guys. The way that I'm going to rank the Odins is going to be the light one first, followed by the fire one for Titans, the water one for arena, the wood one for general farming and some Titans use, and then of course the dark one on the last, because she is just kind of depending on where you want to use her. You may or may not use her, or you might just want to keep her in your box for collective purposes, the way that I am. But all in all, I'd say definitely pick the light Odin, just because she's so good at healing and you know, providing that tank role in your Golems teams. And that's pretty much it, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed my review. If you liked my video, go ahead and leave a like or consider subscribing. And of course, if you guys would like me to review any special monster, please leave it down in the comments section below and let me know who you guys would like me to review next. Thanks, guys. Have a good weekend.